Let me bang, I man. Do let you bang. Hey, let me bang you, man. I let you bang. I let you bang. Greetings, nerds and virgins.
Go for Jesus. No for gay Jesus, people.
Hey, I'm not surprised, motherfuckers.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time once again for your favorite mixed martial arts podcast. Recording out of Los Angeles, California, it's MMA Roasted with Adam Hunter.
Who the fuck is that guy? Who the fuck is that?
Hey, welcome to a brand new MMA Roasted Podcast, people. I'm here. I'm in Vegas. We got a great show. I'm pumped. I'm pumped for this show. Actually, it's gonna be a fun one. And my buddy Bill Dawes is here, who is a hilarious comic, also a brown belt in Jiu-Jitsu. Great guy. I've known him for years. And I'm excited. Because we have Ricky Simone is on, who's killing the game right now. Absolutely killing it. Anthony Hernandez is going to be on the show. The guy who just tapped like the 7-time Abu Dhabi champion. You watched that fight last week?
Yeah, I did.
He's going to be here. And then we have Tyler Goodjohn is on the show as well. Bare knuckle boxer, porn star, just a fucking wild dude. The guy's living like the caveman life.
Is he the first guy you've had that's been a fighter and porn star? Is it the first person?
We've had females on that have had like OnlyFans accounts and have done some like porn stuff. But he's the first one. He's the first male porn star. I'm sure we've had guys that have made sex videos, but he's the first.
Yeah, of course.
First active porn star. So it's good. I'm in Vegas right now doing comedy, and I was talking to Bill before the show, but it's just so great doing live shows again. I mean, even though it's like 30% capacity and it's like 50 people it's just nice actually talking to somebody not on Zoom. I had an audition 2 days ago on Zoom, and it was like for a commercial, and I go in the baby's room because the baby was out at her like daycare thing, and my wife was working in the other room, and I was afraid the baby was going to come in through the living room when she came back. So I go over to her room and I lock the door, and my daughter is, we're potty training her, and my wife is like 30. She's like a millennial who everything is like wired, like stuff that she knows about that I'm just like, so she has the Alexa reminding my daughter to go to the bathroom. And it's like, hey, time to go potty, Violet. You're a big girl. We're all proud of you. And that happens every 30 minutes, right? Now, I forget this is a thing. So right when it's my time to do my line for the audition, I waited like 30 minutes on Zoom, and it was to be like Kevin Bacon's stunt double for a commercial. So everyone looks a lot more like Kevin Bacon than me. And my line was like...
You see the other people auditioning as well?
You can see them in the waiting room, in the virtual waiting room. And everyone's like fixing their hair. Some guy's wife's yelling at them. Nothing. People don't know Zoom. Other people have like a green screen behind them. I have like my daughter's wallpaper behind me. Like, it's just like, I'm like trying to fix the camera as far like the computer, and I'm adjusting it. And the cast director's like, "Are you good, Adam?" Like, already he's like annoyed at me. And right when it was time to do my line, I hear, it was like, my line was like, "Hey, thanks for the Coke," or something. And all of a sudden I hear, I'm like, "Thanks for the time to go potty training, Violet. You're a big," I'm like, fucking A. Like, so I don't think I got that one. And I didn't even.
Or they're going to be charmed by it. And they're going to be, oh, he has a kid. He needs to pay some bills.
Maybe, but you couldn't really, unless you knew what she was saying, you just heard like potty, big girl. It sounded like some weird sex cult was going on. It was awful. So anyway, so I do my show last night in Vegas. BJ Penn shows up. Wow. And that was awesome. And BJ seems like he's doing great. I know he's got some law problems, and I made a couple jokes about it but like, respectful jokes. So, because it's still, you don't know where you're at with BJ. He's the nicest guy ever, but
What are the problems? I haven't followed that, the BJ Penn problems.
I think he got a second or third DUI. He got, kicked out of the UFC and basically for getting into a bar fight and like losing kind of. A guy, he like asked his friend to punch him in the face outside a strip club, and then he came and beat the guy up. There's some, I don't know, there's a lot of stuff going on in his life that's not good, But he seemed really well. He came with a buddy of mine Adam, who's in charge of like the UFC gyms, and he has a job there or something. He was really cool. He was so nice, and it was great. But the crowds people are not used to being outside. And I feel like in a way, everybody, it's like when you you put a dog in a crate for, a couple days or months or years, and you let it out, it's going to go fucking wild. Well, it's like happening at like comedy clubs now. Because people are just talking back to me. They're not even heckling. They're just exciting. I'm like, you ever get so drunk? Yeah. Like, not even before I get to my punchline, people are just yelling at me, screaming, having fun. And I was like, this is a drunk crowd when the most sober one is BJ Penn. And BJ appreciated that one.
That's good.
So that was crazy. And then they're making everyone wear masks in the room, right? So, and I have to,
in the green room. Oh, in the comedy room.
In the comedy room. Everyone
even when they sit down.
Sit down, you have to wear a mask, right? And they'll come to you and say, you have to put your mask on, So right away, halfway through my set, these two guys, maybe in the 20s, one guy gets up and goes, fuck this. And I think he's like mad at me because I just made like a Trump joke or something. And I'm like, oh, great. It wasn't even that bad of a Trump joke, but it was a joke. And then he goes, I'm sick of this fucking mask, and threw it down, right? And I'm like, give it up for Anthony Fauci, right? Like and then his buddy was like, Tyler, just sit down. So then they start fighting. And then he goes, so then the people come over, and normally I'm used to people getting mad at me during comedy.
Yes.
So now they're getting mad at masks, But I told the guy, I'm like, listen, man, we're all in this together, man. I hear you, just come on, man. We're here to have a good time. The guy sat down and had a good time, and everyone was happy that I diffused the situation. But, it was one of those things where, look, I get it. It's a frustrating, crazy time. I mean, rules are rules, and, people have – like, I know bars right now that are enforcing not wearing masks. Like, there's, like – I know people that run bars, like, on Fremont Street where you go there and, like, you can't, like, people, you'll get in trouble for wearing a mask. People are like,
oh, in Vegas, really?
In Vegas. There's all these secret places that people tell me about, like, hey, you want to come here? No masks. And which makes me not want to go there because how many people have been there now?
Oh, exactly.
So, but.
The new speakeasy is like, you have to open a little slot and be like, come in, what's the password?
It's fucking crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. Anyway, so, Bill Dawes, we've actually trained together, and man, you're one of these guys in jiu-jitsu, that you're hard to take down. Like you have like no wrestling background, but a good wrestling base. You're because I feel like a lot of guys, at high levels, they just play the guard game. Like, oh, I'll just pull guard, and that's not you. You're so congrats on getting your brown belt and everything.
Brown belt. Well, I had two older brothers who beat me up constantly all through my entire life. So I think that's where wrestling mostly comes from, right? It's just family members that you want to kill. So so I did that my whole life. I always wanted to be a wrestler, but I never was. But I would always have friends who were like state champions in Virginia. So I like the top game. I'm not one of those guys who wants to have my ass in the air like a French hooker and just play inverted the whole time. You know what I mean? I like the pressure passing. So we probably have similar games that way. I don't know when's the last time you trained Jitsu though. It's been a while, huh?
I haven't trained Jitsu in a long time. I'm doing Muay Thai a lot, like in my garage. I just been with the COVID and my mom's I'm good, thank you. My wife's. You say I'm good, they're still gonna walk in. They always walk in. Hey, how's it going? I'm all set, thank you. My wife's mom isn't in the best health, so no, thank you.
Oh yeah.
So my wife's mom isn't in the best health, so like to explain to my wife, hey, I'm gonna go to train in jiu-jitsu right now with a bunch of people. And and like you literally can't get like closer. Why? Are you training for anything? No, I just need to get a workout. It's a hard. And once COVID's over, I'm gonna go back hard. But right now, it's just I don't know. It's just hard. It's hard when you have a 2-year-old and a wife.
Yeah, exactly. I had COVID, and then I went and did jiu-jitsu, not knowing I had it. I just knew that I felt funny. I felt a little off, and then I trained, and then I immediately got tested after I trained, and I was positive. But nobody at the gym got it, so I don't know what that means, other than the fact that I think for someone like you, Adam, I don't think it'd be that big a deal if you got it. But you're just worried about your wife's mom.
My family, my mom, my kid, my wife. It's not really me. I feel like I've hooked up with enough porn stars and people that where I think my body can take whatever.
Yeah, your immune system is on point right now, man.
I honestly think I eat like shit, but train really hard. And so I think my body's all fucked up. I feel like people that are really healthy get really sick, or people that are not healthy. But like if you're, I have a really stupid, I don't know what I'm talking about. I just, no, I think I'd be all right. But yeah, other people around me is who I'd be worried about. Now, but you take breaks though. Cause like I've known you and like, I'm like, hey, when was the last time you rolled? You're like, oh, I haven't rolled in a couple months or a year or 2 years. And then I see you getting a brown belt. Like, but then you're under Higan Machado or something. Who are you a brown belt under?
No, so my guy, his name's Marcus Vinicius. He has he's a sixth stand under Master Mansour. So that's a pretty good legacy. I mean, I think how many red belts are there in BJJ? 30 in the world, 20, 30. So Master Mansour is one of them, and he's like a legend. You know, he's like the 50 Cent of Brazil. He's been shot 8 times, and he was a cop. He was like, if you ever saw City of God or Elite Squad, he's one of those like slow.
All right, so I think your wife
belt. He's like 5'2". He's a monster. So the guy that he trained under him is very old school Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, classic Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. I don't do the Gordon Ryan, Gary Tonin leg game, which is interesting because with someone like Ricky Simone, who is a black belt in Jiu-Jitsu, a lot of people think that Jiu-Jitsu is going to make a resurgence in MMA because the leg game has evolved so much in the past 5 or 10 years. Like Gary Tonin is killing it at the One Championship right now. With leg locks, he can pretty much get people when he wants to. And there was a time where leg locks were irrelevant in UFC because people just slip out of them. But I feel like the game's evolved. So I'm going to be like people like Charlie, like who's that guy? Charlie Hooper, that little kid with the curly hair.
Yeah.
Chase Hooper. And he's getting people in heel hooks and shit like that. It's going to be interesting to see how that evolves. But I don't play that game. I'm too old.
Yeah, well, the thing about Tonin, though, is also he was really working on his striking. Like he says his favorite boxer is Mike Tyson. And like you wouldn't even know. And then he just pulls out jiu-jitsu when he needs to, you know, which is dangerous. But also he's fighting good guys, but I want to see him fight the next level of guy. Because, you know, Ryan Hall is a guy that like – I
love Ryan Hall.
You know, but yeah, I am interested in it because, I mean, I always feel like pulling guard's a terrible idea in MMA. I'm always like, man – but then there's always a one guy that can seem to break every single rule. And then you're like, nobody can figure that guy out. I remember it was like Damian Maia for a while. Everyone was like, Maia. And then Nate Marquardt just like knocked him the fuck out. And then they were like, okay, well, I guess, you know, or, but this guy right here, I guess his name is Jade Bonnet now. I don't know who that is. But that's the name. Ricky Simone is a murderer. Who's Jade Bonnet, by the way?
I gotta stop stealing my wife's laptop.
Oh, okay. I got it. Ricky Simone coming off a huge win. That dude was tough, man. Brian Kelleher is a very underrated fighter, and he's one of those dudes that wins. That like he's never out of a fight. He's got that like one punch power. You started off so strong, and your wrestling in the first round was amazing. Was there a fear of burning out?
Not for me. That's like my favorite thing is to like get them to the point where they're burning out and I can like start to feel it. Like I felt that like early on in wrestling, you'd feel them break like in the third round when they're tired, if they're down, but if it's close and then you feel them go over something, you kind of feel them take that breath and like, hang their head a little bit. And I love getting them to that point. And I train to get them to that point and for me to stay fresh. So not in my head. I mean, even though it was like a quick turnaround, I still felt so my body felt good. And I feel like I was in good enough shape to like push that pace for all 3 rounds for sure.
How do you do that? Because I go 1 5-minute roll in jiu-jitsu and then I feel like I have a heart attack. I need like a power drink. I need a massage. Like how do you go 15, 25 minutes at like level 10?
Well, my coaches are crazy. When I'm over here training with Fabiano Scherner, he's like cuts me off a piece of the mat, puts in bags, and like that's my area, and he just sends anywhere from a purple belt to a black belt at me for 10 to 12 rounds sometimes, and we're just grinding it out. They're putting me in positions that they think my opponent's going to have me in, or they think I'm going to have my opponent in. And then when I'm training with Timo Yama, I'm sparring 10 to 15 rounds, good spar, nothing crazy, but like high paced. We're working stuff we've been drilling on. And I'm working with Alex Perez and guys like up and coming guys that are just good enough to be in the UFC already. So I'm constantly getting 10 plus rounds live in. So
do you ever get tired?
A little bit, but I can recover pretty quick, and that's something that we've been doing for years now. I think I've been working with Polar for 5 years. I wear that heart rate monitor, and we see how high we can get my heart rate up, and we max it out. And then in 1 minute, we see how low I can get my heart rate, and I can drop almost 100 beats within that minute. So I'm in full recovery.
Bill, is this like how you train as well?
I'm the laziest piece of shit imaginable, but I do have a question for you, Ricky. I love the way you attack the arm triangle from the mount. In terms of your jiu-jitsu, what would you say your most effective offensive attacks are in jiu-jitsu and MMA? Because I feel like there's very few that work, frankly, nowadays. But your arm triangle from the mount seems pretty effective. I don't know if you have any tricks for that. I never get it when I roll. I'm a brown belt, but I'm obviously not your level. Is that your favorite jiu-jitsu move, offensive move in MMA?
Well, I think my favorite would be a guillotine, or any kind of choke where I'm like on top, like either like standing or have them turtle up on the ground, because I feel like I get to that position so many times. The arm triangle is one of my favorite moves, mostly just for pressure. Like either I'm going to get this arm triangle or I'm going to get to a position where I can posture up and elbow your fucking face. So either way, it works.
Yeah, you don't lose position on. That's good.
Now, Kelleher clipped you a couple times in the second and third. Were you rocked at all?
Never rocked. Actually, the front kicks never hurt me, but he actually hit me with a check hook, which we knew he had a good overhand and a good hook from the open. So I felt that a little bit, and so I had to use some head movement and circle a little bit, but none of the front kicks, something like that.
No, there was one time that we hit you, and then your chin went up, and then your hands went down, and I was like, oh shit, uh-oh. But was that on purpose, or was that on purpose, or no?
No, I didn't get kicked in the face on purpose, Adam. Come on, man.
No, but like, were you playing possum at all? Were you like, did you see any like stars at all, or no?
No, never. I mean, I've been buzzed in fights and seen those stars before, and nothing like that. He did sneak a couple of those front kicks in really good at me. I think his toe. I had like a big old cut under my chin, his toe in my neck or something. But he was sneaky with those. We were. I was having one of my coaches flow with me and throw those like marching front kicks that he likes to throw. In practice, I had that shit down. I was like moving out of the way. I was like, yeah, right. That ain't hitting me. And in the fight, it hit me so many times. So.
Wow. Yeah. Now, are you staying at 145?
No. I like being the bully at bantamweight. I feel so strong. I feel like a freak at bantamweight. I think at featherweight, I'd be giving up too many advantages, especially in that height department. I'm short as shit, so I shouldn't be fighting these tall guys up at bantamweight.
And what happened to the mullet?
Well, after I started losing, it just kind of fell off. But we're on a win streak again. It's peaking.
I know, but it's hard to make jokes about you now, because I have all these mullet jokes that I just go to the well, and now it's gone. I think people still see you with the mullet, though. You had it for so long, and people still look at you, and they're like, "Oh, it's still there." I just can't see it,
Yeah, it's a problem, because I thought like, oh, this will be fun. Like as I start my UFC career, and then that's how I get known is with a bullet. So it's kind of my thing.
Props to Uriah Faber, but I still think that was stopped early. Honestly, like I still think that fight was a bad stoppage.
Well, I wasn't gonna complain about it, but then the ref came in the background and was like, I feel like I need to explain myself, and so that left a weird taste in my mouth for sure. But yeah, I mean, I know what I signed up for. Like, let me die in there a little bit. Let me fight out of these positions. If I'm not unconscious, then don't be pulling anyone off me.
Well, I came up that Uriah promised the ref a threesome with 2 chicks. That actually, just so you know. Now, who do you think wins, Yan or Aljamain?
I think Aljo can get it done. I mean, he seems pretty like long for the weight class, and I think his wrestling is going to be the difference. So I think if he uses it, it could be the difference.
Yeah, Bill.
Hey, Rick, I have a question. How come I feel like every time a male fighter wins UFC, they go, Dana, I want that title shot. every time the women do, they go, I'll do whatever Dana wants. I don't really care. I'm just honored to be in the ring. What you don't seem like you're one of the guys who's like, Dana, give me that title shot. I'm gonna murder everyone in the ring. You seem pretty modest. But what do you think? Do you think that's marketing?
I don't know. I do think about that sometimes. I do think about like, oh, what do I need to do to be more marketable? But I don't know. It just gets tough. I just want to be myself, and I talk plenty shit as it is, and I just want to be natural. And I'm sure once I get to that, I feel like I need to prove it. I'm not gonna be one of those guys who's calling for something too early. Like give me things. I want to earn them. I've earned them my entire life. I'll just keep doing that.
Well, I mean, you're fighting every week. You literally fought like twice in 3 weeks, and you've been winning. So I can't. And you're just a monster. These guys are like. I feel like you're a guy that you're gonna have a tough time finding fights because you're not ranked in the top 10 yet, and you're fucking a beast of a guy. And the guys that you've beaten are just awesome. So people are gonna be like, oh, well, it's the risk reward ratio is gonna be hard for people.
Yeah, I think I'm due for another ranked opponent. I mean, if you look at it, I was ranked top 15 at one point. I took those losses, but to Uriah Faber and to the now number 3 ranked guy, Rob Font, and that was a super close fight. So those were my only losses in the UFC. I'm 18-3. I mean, if they want to keep paying me these big bucks to fight these guys who aren't ranked, then I'll do it. But I feel like, I'm on a 3-fight win streak. They better start giving me a name. And I'm looking at guys like, 2 guys who popped in my head right away were Sun Tzu and Frankie Edgar. If I could get a fight in like early summer, I think those would be great matchups for me.
I don't want to see
Frankie Edgar's not retired yet.
Yeah, Frankie. I don't want to see that fight. No offense, but I want Frankie to fight somebody like just like not that he's just somebody older. I want to see him get a definite win. I don't know. That's a tough fight for him, man. You're a young, hungry kid. You live in a 1-bedroom. It's just,
Hey, I moved up. I'm out of the 1-bedroom. Come on, man.
I remember you came to my show in Portland. I felt like you were like a kid. And then he's the funniest guy, Bill, because like it was right after his first fight in the UFC. And I was like, man, that was a tough fight. You're like, yeah, those guys are a lot better than the scrubs I've been fighting before. Like, he just fucking like flat out said that. I was like, Jesus.
Yeah.
But you weren't, man. Those LFA guys you fought were good. I mean, you fought some good dudes.
Do you have a gaming chair, Ricky? Is that a gaming chair you're sitting on?
Yep. Yeah, it is. It was gifted to me. This for sure been ran through, but it's super comfortable. Broken in.
Okay,
so let's talk about the fights this week. We got Curtis Blades, Derrick Lewis. I'm picking Curtis Blades. I just think that he's going to out-wrestle him, take him down for 5 rounds, and just kind of avoid getting knocked out. Who do you like in this fight, Ricky?
I gotta go with the wrestler for sure. Especially like you get a heavyweight who has that blast double like Blades and then that ground and pound. But Lewis seems hard to be taken down. Must be that wide mass or something, because if someone shoots on him, he just easily like defends it. It seems like, at least. But I think that Derrick should be able to blast through that and control it. But hopefully, they don't gas out though.
Well, yeah, that. I mean, what's funny is that somebody asked him about like the spaceship on Mars that they landed, and he was like, "Man, how much was that? They could have opened up so many Popeyes chickens with that money." It was like he is one of the funniest people. You just want to. And he has like the most knockouts in the history of heavyweight division right now. Like he's
wow,
insane power. Bill, who do we like in that fight?
Derrick, you got to go with Derrick Lewis, man. You gotta love the guy. And in terms of him gassing out, I think there's a little bit of a showmanship thing going on where he's like, I think he's actually a little bit better than people think, and I think he's going to knock him out.
Dude,
put money on it.
At one point, he was training for 20 minutes a day. Which is like,
I know, but you think that's just like a little bit of PR to be like?
No, I think he was training 20 minutes a day. He doesn't seem like the kind of guy to like lie about shit.
At this point, he's got to step it up, though, right?
Oh yeah, of course. But he's hilarious. I mean, he's just naturally funny. He has that he can read the phone book and I'll laugh, man. Some people are just naturally funny. So also Caitlyn Vieira, who has won. She's beaten some good girls. She beat Ashley Evans-Smith, Sarah McMahon, Kat Zingano, and she got knocked out by Irene Aldana, and then she beat Sajara Eubanks. She's fighting Yana Kunitskaya. She's Russian. This girl hates me. I sat next to her at a fight, and I started asking her questions, and like, who's gonna win? And she's like, leave me alone. I was like, thank you. But then she was nice on Instagram and Twitter. Like she got back to me and likes my tweets.
Well,
maybe she's having a bad day.
Leave me alone is how you say hello in Russian.
Is that what it is? Yeah, Russian.
Yeah.
That's, dude, my dad told me with Russian girls, if you take them out and don't try to sleep with them, they'll think you're a complete homo. That's something my dad told me.
Meanwhile, they'll be mean to you the whole time, but if you don't try to
Yeah.
have sex with me, still think you're homo. Yeah.
So we have a guy who just won Fight of the Night, also joining us. This dude, Anthony Hernandez, coming off a huge win. Oh my God. It was, I love when I watch fights and everyone's about one guy. The commentators are like, oh, Vieira, this guy's the best ever. He's in trouble. He's not good. And then the other guy wins. Like, that's my favorite. So, Anthony, thanks for making that happen. How are you, man?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm pretty fucking lit. I'm not gonna lie.
You deserve it.
Good, man. But didn't you get in trouble for that? Didn't you not get into the UFC and they took away
No,
money
it's just a little suspension, But we're past that now. I passed my last drug test, so
All right.
if I have to cut it out, I will.
No, it's all good, man. I'm happy. I'm happy for you. Now that fight, were you nervous at all about the submission of that guy? Like, did you you took that fight on short notice, right?
No, I've had I got COVID, so they pushed it back a little bit. But I trained for 3 months for him, and I just did a fuck ton of drilling and escaping, getting up. And the game plan was basically to make him wrestle so that he gets tired because he's a jiu-jitsu guy.
Yeah.
And he likes to chill on top. So we were our game plan was to make him work hard the first round and then second round take it to him. So that pretty much, because we knew he was going to guess. He was fucking big as shit.
Yeah. I mean, how were you close at all tapping? I mean, was it insane pressure, or did you roll with guys that felt like?
No, it really wasn't that bad. The guys that I was training with for that fight are 230 black belts and D1 wrestlers, and let's just say they're fucking a lot worse to get off of you than that 185-pound guy. So I was chill.
No, it was good. Now, after you had him hurt in the first, you go back to your corner. Then you went for the takedown, and everyone's like, no, keep it standing. Because was that part of the plan to take him down, or you were just talk to me about that?
So I knew once after the first round, I felt his best, So I wasn't even worried about it. The second round, I was 100% ready for that fight. I even told my coaches I was I can see myself submitting him, and they're like, fuck that, no. And but just when he was on bottom and you could see his body just his soul just leaving his body, he did not want to fight no more. He was fucking exhausted. So he was kind of looking for a way out. So when I saw him reaching, I was oh, my choke's right here. And once I put my knee over and blocked his elbow, I knew for sure I was gonna have it, and then just sent it.
It was incredible. I was cheering. I was going crazy. I was my wife and my daughter were there. My daughter's like, play Barbie. I was trying to play Barbie while watching this. It was hard. I was so pumped for you because it was the ultimate Rocky story. But people don't realize you beat Kevin Holland. You have some huge wins on your record.
No, I lost to Kevin Holland.
Oh.
He got me. He got me.
Oh, yeah. Oh, all right. Well, I'm taking that part out too. Okay. Okay. But you beat a guy that beat Kevin Holland, right?
Yeah. Brandon Allen.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about. You beat Brandon Allen, who beat Kevin Holland. So you beat some good dudes. I mean, you're not some jabroni. I mean, you were what 10-1 as an amateur. Then you came in and you won 8 in a row. You would have gotten to the UFC earlier if not for the failed drug test. You knocked the guy out in 40 seconds. I mean, you're not just some kid. I feel like they were all about loading up on that other guy and not talking about you.
No, yeah. I was looking forward to it. I knew all the pressure was off me, so I was all right, now I could just go fight. There's no people there. There's no nerves. It's just, it was perfect.
Did you get laid that night or no?
Hell no, I got kids.
What about your wife? Are you a single dad? Are you married or what?
No, I'm married.
And your wife didn't be like, you're my hero, good job? Nothing?
No, I don't know. I really don't I'm not trying to make it a crazy big deal. It's just another fight with a submission. I really don't give a fuck about all the hype and stuff.
Damn. What about you? Nothing? Ricky?
Oh, what was that?
Did your wife hook you up at least after your last win?
Oh, hell yeah. Come on. No kids for me.
I mean, if you get fight of the night, you should get a fight of the night BJ at least. Come on.
Yeah, $50,000. What's wrong with you guys, man? Right?
Bro, I'm a fucking dad. I had to get dad mode.
Well, listen, man. I know you're on a meeting right now with your manager as well as a potential client or something, right? And obviously, you want to get stoned as hell for those meetings. But
sure.
but listen, who do you want to fight next?
I really don't give a fuck. I'll fight whoever.
Nice. Well, keep up the great work, and thank you for everything.
Yeah, thank you.
Take care, brother. All right.
Hey, Adam, is weed banned by USADA?
So it was, and now they're saying it's not anymore. Like, so it's so stupid. They got to get this. It's so dumb that like people are in jail right now for many, many years because marijuana, and then COVID happens, and it's an essential business in California. And I mean, it's
crazy.
The dumbest thing. Like, it's an essential business. Like, the gym is closed, but the dispensary is open.
Yeah. Did you ever think that 10 years ago that comedy would be illegal and weed would be legal?
I'm literally doing comedy shows in dispensaries right now. They're having shows there. This is the only place you can have shows now, or at a fucking park, or a dispensary, or a parking lot. It's so stupid, so fucking dumb. But what are you gonna do? I can't believe I thought he beat Kevin Holland. Now I feel like an asshole. I know people are gonna be like, "You fucking idiot! Do your research."
He's not even gonna remember that conversation. Don't worry about it.
He won't. But the fans are gonna fucking. Just to make a mistake like that, I could just see like the 19 comments of like, "You have this guy on your show." Anyway, fuck it. What are you gonna do? So Bilal Muhammad is replacing Chimaev. Bilal is now fighting Leon Edwards. I think it's a great fight for Bilal. It's the first time he's in a main event. I think he could beat Leon Edwards. Is a great fighter, but he hasn't fought in like 2 years. And even though he's in an 8-fight winning streak, that's a long time. And it seems like a lot of guys right now are coming back from 2-year layoffs and not doing well. I think Ponzinibbio being one of them. A couple other guys, they're not performing to their. It's a long layoff. Thoughts, Ricky Simone?
Yeah, I like Bilal in that one too, especially because he just fought. And I know when I just had a quick turnaround, I was much more comfortable in the back warming up, less stressed on the walkout. So he has that going for him against a guy who has a 2-year layoff. I had a 9-month layoff before my last the fight in Fight Island. Even that was like too long.
Yeah.
So those long layoffs definitely affect you. And I think if Bilal can make it dirty, which he's good at doing, going in there and making it a scrap and not letting Leon sit back and pick his shots, then it could definitely be a good night for him.
And it's a long layoff and a main event long layoff. So you got to think of all the press he's got to do and all the pressure. That's a fucking tough challenge, man. I know these British guys are pretty calm under pressure, especially like black British guys seem like the calmest. Have you ever met a black British guy that didn't have like between like Lennox Lewis, Leon Edwards, it seems like a lot of these guys, a lot of rappers, they just seem a lot more calm. I don't know what it is. They just seem a lot cooler, but who knows? Chris Dukas, is that how you say it? Anyway, he's fighting Alexei Alnick, who has like 80 fights. He's won 47 by Ezekiel choke. Everybody keeps saying Ezekiel choke is like the easiest choke to get out of. You can't get submitted, and he keeps hitting it. You guys are jiu-jitsu nerds. Tell me about this choke.
Well, is he mounted getting it? Is he getting it from his guard? Do you know, Ricky, how he's getting this Ezekiel?
Hasn't he hit it off his back and on mount twice too?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
He's a weirdo with it. I started doing that when I get on top of people. I'll like just to make them uncomfortable. I can't finish it, but it's super impressive that he seems like he can get that from just about anywhere.
Maybe he just has really weird. His forearm bone is just really pointy or something like that. Because it's definitely not a move. I mean, I mostly train gi. When somebody gets in the gi, you feel it come on, but you're never like freaking out. You know, so maybe he just has a weird.
Is it kind of like a can opener? Is that like a can opener kind of move where like you do it in practice, but you're not going to tap to it?
Kind of, yeah.
But
it's almost like the triangle nowadays. You know what I mean? Like who's getting anyone in a triangle?
A lot of people. Like Khabib's getting people in triangles. What are you talking about?
Oh, that's true. Yeah. No, it's true. Yeah.
Now this guy. So Chris Dukas, he's a full-time cop. He says he hates being a cop. He hates chasing people around with guns. And he works 40 hours a week as a cop. And then he does 2 workouts a day while working 10 hours a day. I don't know. props to this guy for having, if he's married, because my wife would fucking kill me. I couldn't even imagine. Like, I do a comedy show for a half hour a day, and my wife thinks it's too much. A fucking Zoom show. I don't even leave the house, and I got to plan that. If I had a 10-hour cop job followed by like 2 workouts, like that's either, that wife either loves them or just, I don't know, is a very independent woman. I never met a woman like that. Is your wife clingy, Ricky Simone?
Not at all, honestly. We've been together for so long. Anytime she can get rid of me, she's happy to do it.
How long you guys been together for?
Like 10 years.
Wow.
Okay, yeah.
Also, Adam, it seems like she doesn't have a job, because if he has to be a UFC fighter and be a cop, then she should probably get a job. She can't complain.
Well, I don't even know if the guy's married, so I'm actually just making up a wife in this guy's life.
Okay.
I mean, so I have no idea like anything about this guy. I'm just saying that I you know, who knows. But your wife is very cute. I saw her at the show. She looks very young. I could tell you guys have been together for a long time. You guys have that cute. You were holding hands in the show.
High school sweethearts.
Yeah, they were laughing at the same jokes. Like they had that like super like he's like the small town kid who like is gonna make it big as a fighter. He's got 3 brothers who are not as good as him. And then she was like the hot girl in high school that was like weird but like cute in a weird way. Right? Am I right on this one?
I mean, you're close enough.
Yeah. And then you guys were together through college, and he didn't have a job, and he didn't know if he was going to make it. He has a stupid tattoo with his name on his back, like for some reason, big fucking letters, like as if you don't know that's his fucking name. You're like, oh, where's Ricky Simone? And his brothers all have it too. So, which is crazy. Like it's the Simone. Did you guys ever fight 4-on-1?
Just other family.
4-on-4. Is there like a rival family in
yeah, for sure. And they're fighters and wrestlers too. So we just get together, one side of the lawn, the other side of the lawn, and just. It was
Are you serious?
Yeah, basically.
Well, wow. All right.
Everyone else played football. They had like full on like MMA matches in groups.
Yeah.
So we got a guy who just joining us. This guy, Ricky, you were the most interesting guy in the podcast until this guy showed up. Sorry. This guy. Tyler Goodjohn, he's a 3-0 as a bare knuckle boxer. He was
4-0.
4-0. Sorry. He was a regular boxer. He was a junior AVA champion, amateur box champion, English professional glove boxing champion, bare knuckle boxing world champion, and also he's a male porn star. Now, a lot of guys you think, oh, he's a male porn star, blah blah blah. This dude posts more videos of him fucking girls on Twitter. Like, his entire feed is just him railing chicks, like, in 2-minute videos. And, like, hot chicks. I've seen this guy's cock more than I've seen my own cock. Like I scroll down my feed. It's just his cock, and then, like, chicks with tattoos on their faces that are hot, but you know, like, they hate their dads or something. And then he's, like, and just craziness. And it's, like, there's, like, 3 girls and 4 girls and him, and it's just, and then all the comments are gay dudes. Because I'm like, who's commenting on this? And all fucking gay dudes, like, wow, nice package, or bring it over here, which makes me feel a little better about my life. But anyway, what are you gonna do? Tyler Goodjohn, how's it going, man?
That's some introduction. I've got to live up to that introduction now.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm doing well, mate. I'm doing very well. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, it's a pleasure, man. Now, you had I watched your fight last night against Charles Felony. It was Crazy Horse. It's now Felony, which, you know, like you have to call him Felony now. Like, Crazy Horse wasn't crazy enough. Good fight. Really good fight. Competitive. I definitely thought you won that fight. Some people were like, oh, he didn't win. No, I'm like, you won that fight. You knocked him down. You were faster. I think people just love him. He's a very beloved character.
Yeah. He's huge in America. Yeah. Yeah. Like from my point of view, it wasn't the best, but obviously going out to America, I had to go out on my own. I had no training team. I had to go quarantine for 14 days in Dubai, and then I'd spend 2 months in America training myself. I then got COVID 2 weeks out from the fight, so that was a complete nightmare. Managed to get a negative test about 5 days before the fight and went and fought. It wasn't my best, but under the circumstances, I'll take it, you know?
Now, when you're fighting Felony, there are times that he's just got butt naked during the weigh-ins. Another guy said they fought him and he was coaching that guy on how to choke him during the fight. Was he talking crazy shit to try to get in your head? Like, what was that like?
You know what? I would say that I got in his head. I obviously at the weigh, and I'm wearing a multicolored Versace dressing gown. I'm wearing netted pants. I would say, if anything, I probably got in his head. I outshadowed felonies, didn't I? That's what I went and done it.
Ha! Now, you said your best friend sucker punched you and broke your jaw before the fight.
Yeah.
What happened there?
We were at a party. He become very aggressive to a group of girls. I called him out on it. When I'm saying best friend, I'm saying best friend. I've done a lot for that guy. Like I say, I called him out on it. He didn't like it. He was threatening me a lot, but didn't have the bollocks to back it up. And he actually cuddled me. He said, "We're brothers." I've looked away and he sucker punched me and snapped my jaw both sides. I've got plates. I've got screws in my face. And actually, I still can't feel my bottom lip and my bottom teeth to this day. So he's a bitch. Yeah, a bitch. And
then you had to train.
But then 4 months later, I fought in a bare knuckle fight.
That's Ricky, you look horrified. Is everything okay? What was that, Ricky?
I said, damn, that's wild. That was his boy.
Yeah. So by the way, you're here with Ricky Simone, UFC fighter, 18-3, one of the best, and comedian Bill Dawes. Now, let's talk about the porn aspect. So you started dating Alessa Savage, right? Is that still your fiance?
Yeah. Well, yeah. She was my fiance. Yeah,
she was your fiance. Now, she's a porn star.
Yeah.
And then she turned you, she said, listen, I like to fuck guys. I'm getting paid for it. I like you the best. Why don't you fuck me and we can make some money? Is that how it went down?
At the start, so basically what it was, when I was doing bare knuckle boxing in England, Television Next used to show it live. So obviously I ended up with one of the ring card girls. And then it just sort of went from there, really, like I say, yeah. And I got involved in a whole lot of madness, and and she introduced me to the world of porn. Thank you.
Please explain the madness that you got involved in.
Just like I'm in Ibiza with 5 porn stars. I'm living in a house with them for 10 days. It was just a lot of fun, and a lot of fun basically.
so you're banging 5 girls at once, taking turns.
Well, like no, I wouldn't say we're banging. I was obviously with Alessa at the time, but I'm with these hot ass porn star girls. I'm at Ocean Beach. I'm looking the fucking boy. Do you know what I mean? I'm surrounded by hot girls. It was it was fun, and it's not a bad life.
No, I've seen some of the videos. It seems like you're having a great time. So you're having sex with them. Now, is it hard to not get distracted? Because you have to train for your bare knuckle fights, your boxing career. And it just seems like sometimes you keep upping the ante where it's like, oh, threesome in the morning, you got to train in the afternoon, but then this trip, put on your face, and 4, then you got to fucking.
There's always time for a threesome, always time.
Always times, right? Okay.
What about the no sex before a fight rule?
Yeah,
no sex before a fight.
Do you know what? It's funny because when I went to a show in Miami, the fight before I fought, and David Feldman, the BKFC, might have come up to me. He come up to me twice the whole time we were there, and he kept shaking his head. And I went, "What's the matter, Dave?" He went, "You gotta stop banging, man. You gotta stop this banging." Like that. Honestly, I swear to God. And then the next day, he's come up to me and he's shaking his head exactly the same thing. "You really need to stop this banging, man." Like that. And I'm thinking to myself, I was like, "Davey, don't you worry, mate. I can do both."
Yeah. Okay. So you're not worried. I mean, you're 4-0. You're undefeated. You're a high profile guy. And you said your parents are proud of you for the porn career.
Proud. If you said, "Hey, Tyler's mum, are you proud of seeing your son fucking loads of girls?" Probably not. But at the same time, she fully supports everything I do. She knows I'm mad as fuck, and she's behind me. So.
No, okay. And your girlfriend. Now, is there any jealousy? Because I talked to some porn stars that were like, because I used to work at the warm up for the Playboy channel, so I became friends with porn stars, and there was a little bit of like, hey, don't fuck that girl, but you can fuck this girl. But hey, but don't enjoy it too much with this girl. Does Alessa Savage get jealous at all?
I'm gonna. Do you know what? Because I can't be fucked with the amount of abuse I'm gonna get if she hears this. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Look, I'm gonna be honest. She gets jealous. To be fair, look, she's not my girlfriend, so I'm obviously working with a lot of girls. But yeah, girls in the industry do get very jealous.
Of course. Now you said you also love strippers.
Yeah, I have got a I don't not like them.
So take me to a typical day, because on Twitter your day seems like, okay, you wake up in the morning, you train.
Yeah.
Okay. And
then are we going through today's day, or are we going through training? Because we're in lockdown at the minute, so it's hard to train. It's hard to get hold of.
All right, give me the insane fun days. Give me a typical fun day for you. I'm married. I suck, so.
Well, so like Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
I've seen a girl in the morning, and then in the afternoon, I've drove off and I've slept with 2 other women.
Wow. And now, is this for OnlyFans for content, or just without?
Yeah. Well, in the morning wasn't for content, and then in the afternoon / evening, that was for content.
Does it feel weird fucking not for content? Like, aren't you at a place where you're like, hey, if I'm not getting filmed for this or pay, like, what's the point? No?
No, do you know what? Like, sex is better, obviously, when it's not made for content, because you're obviously thinking of angles, you're thinking of everything else. You know what I mean? It's not. I say it's not enjoyable. It is, but it's it's definitely harder than when you're just fucking. You know what I mean?
Right, Ricky, do you fuck for content as well, or no?
Not usually, no.
So it's one of them things, isn't it? Like, no, it's not for everyone. But do you know what? I'm very open sexually. I always have been. I don't think it's a big deal. Everyone watches porn. The people who say that they don't watch porn are the ones who watch it the most. You know what I mean? It's like I say, I'm living, let live. Like,
now, and you're also like at the top. You're not the top 3% or something. Like, you're making what, like $50,000 a month or something?
No, like, do you know what? I haven't, like, where obviously I was in America and everything else. I had to come off it a bit and stuff like that. So I've only really just started doing scenes again now. I mean, obviously with COVID and everything else, it's like we're in lockdown back in the UK. So I can't, well, I'm not supposed to be meeting up with other girls and everything else. So it's very difficult until COVID's over and done with. The whole industry in general is obviously, isn't open. So
now, have you thought about going like mainstream porn, like for like Vivid?
Yeah. I'd like to try and do the studio stuff and all that. It's, again, it's a lot more difficult than people think. But it's definitely something that I'm open to. I'll be, I'm coming back out to America again. So
I have a question.
Yeah.
I have a question. Do you have a bucket list in terms of who you want to fuck in porn and who you want to fight in bare knuckle boxing?
I want to fight Luis Palomino in Miami, fill out a stadium. I've obviously really pissed him off anyway, and I pissed off the Cuban community in Miami, so I might as well go finish the job. So that's the fight. And then I've always said that there's a porn star girl from America, Canela Skin, and she's like a Latino girl, and she is hot as anything.
Got it. Now, do a lot of girls slide into your DMs and like, hey, I watched your OnlyFans, or hey, I watched your porn, and I want you to do this to me?
Yeah, so like I've actually got a tattoo of it says down in the DM, and it's a heart shape, and it's 2 girls sending a picture of their ass to me. Because literally at one point, I'd wake up in the morning and my Twitter and all that was just girls fucking themselves, sending videos and fucking themselves. Like, if that doesn't give you a sex addiction, I don't know what the fuck does.
Now, are there a lot of UFC female fighters that say to you, hey, I watched your stuff and I want to be with you?
Well, Paige Van Zandt messaged me the other day, a laughing face emoji with loads of money coming out of the mouth. So, I mean, you
kind of called her out, didn't you? You kind of shit on her a little bit, didn't you?
Wow.
Yeah, so, and I said to her,
that's not growing. You better be saying nice things.
That's a training partner. Yeah.
Hey, look, you know what? Paige Van Zandt, beautiful girl, good fighter, everything else. But at the end of the day, was it $400,000 she got or something? Let's face it, this is bare knuckle boxing now. She hadn't had a bare knuckle fight. Obviously, she's done what she done in the UFC and everything else, but she hadn't had a bare knuckle fight. So I find that disrespectful. But I've obviously had the fights I've had, and I'm not getting paid anywhere near what she's getting. You know what I mean? I do understand she's bringing all the Instagram following and all that, but it has sort of bit him on the ass a bit. You know
how many dick pics is $400,000 for you? That's
say again, sorry. How many dick pics?
That's.
I wouldn't like to say.
Wow, that's crazy. Well, listen, man. I mean, you are a character and a half. I think the world hasn't found out about you yet, because I feel like you're like the dirtiest guy I've ever met.
Can I just say one? Can I say one thing? Yeah, I've got a documentary that is on YouTube. Alessa, my porn star ex, is in it as well. Honestly, watch that documentary. It's called Unbroken. Right? It is sick. It is good. I'm not just saying it.
I saw it. It's great.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you. I'm so happy with how it come out. I knew it was going to be good. It's, it's fighting. It's going to be interesting. But the way the production, everything else.
Now, how many girls come up to you in real life and they're like, "Hey, let me see it," or "I see what you're working with," or "Hey, can I get a ride on the Goodjohn Express?" I mean, how many women come up to you and say this?
Well, at the minute, being in lockdown, not that many, but I get messages. It's like, look, we live in a social media time now, don't we? You can bang your Tinder on, and you're not going to be short of birds. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah. I just want to be friends. I just want to be friends with you, Tyler. You'd be a great friend, a guy who can fight bare knuckle and yeah, Jesus Christ. I get
all right, where can people find you? Well, Instagram, OnlyFans, everything.
Yeah, so I'm on my Instagram at El Tornado Tyler, and then on my Twitter, if you want to see a little bit more of me, that is a link to get to the OnlyFans in this at Tornado Tyler on Twitter. I've got my Facebook, but I basically just get abused by people that sit at home and do fuck all. So I don't tend to go on it that much. But yeah, I'm mostly on Instagram. I do a lot of Instagram lives, like to connect and talk to my fans and everything else. So give it a follow.
Well, listen, keep up the great work, man. I think that there's you're providing a service for people. I'm not really sure what the service is, but it's a good service. A lot of people, they need to masturbate, they need to watch fighting, and here you are. So stay away from my wife. Thanks a lot, Tyler. You're the best.
Nice one. Thanks a lot, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.
All right, that was Tyler Goodjohn. Wow. A lot to absorb there. Thoughts, Ricky Simone?
Man, that guy is way more interesting than me. I feel like I need to do something crazy now.
Well, Rick, I have a question for you about jiu-jitsu. So when I do jiu-jitsu,
we're just gonna ignore the fact that guy just came on the show.
That's what I'm talking about. When I do jiu-jitsu, I never think about sex. But when I'm having sex, I think about jiu-jitsu all the time. And I wanted to kind of ask him, like, does he ever confuse his two fucking passions in the middle of Does he ever just want to start hauling off on? I don't know, but do you know what I'm talking about with the jiu-jitsu? Like, are you in bed ever like, I'm passing her guard, I'm trapping her half guard, she's got me in lockdown, full mount, nothing like that? Just me? I'm a weirdo?
I'll never think about no jiu-jitsu.
Thank you. Thanks, Bill. Good job, Bill.
Why is she turtling up? She's turtling up again.
Yeah, man, that was so far. We had a guy that was stoned as fuck, and another guy, a bare knuckle boxer, porn stuff. Ricky, you're the most normal guy on the podcast.
Yeah, I know. I'm starting to feel like it. What's going on out here?
All right, let's talk about some more of the fights this week, and then we'll call it a show. That guy, nice guy though, very humble. Seems like a real sweet guy.
He could be a really big star just in terms of his brand and his look and everything. He's got the kind of tatted up little Jason Momoa look going.
It's the craziest thing. He literally post pictures of him because like a lot of times I'm like this guy like because I'm like he's like a real fighter. It's not like he's just some guy that like is an amateur or took one fight and is a porn star. And you're like he's like legitimately was a boxer and like a fighter. So and I'm looking at these videos of just him just like his fucking cock hanging out like hey for $20 you could just I mean literally it's every fucking cock thing. And there's like 6 views on it. I'm like people are and I'm one of and I'm like 4 of those views. Like I'm like something's being missed here. Like he's not being marketed correctly because I do feel like you ever see that Bill like and I mean as far as like comedy wise or you ever see like a band we're like man why does no one know about this fucking band or you see
that's how I feel about myself Adam. That's how I feel about
or like you see a fighter you're like why does nobody care? Like, I'll watch some random prelim fighter. Like he could corner the market in male porn stars.
Ricky, I got to ask you, as a UFC fighter, do you look at him and go, "Oh, bare neck, that's cute"? Is it like an NFL fighter looking at a CFL player, or like Major League Baseball looking at AA, going like, "Yeah, you got your little thing," but like you're at the top of the game in the UFC.
I just think of it as a different sport. I think it's badass in its own realm. Like I never really watched until Paige jumped on that last card is when I tuned in. I was like, oh, this is kind of badass. And then I see some of the guys in my weight class doing it, and I'm like, man, I would knock this guy out. Talking shit, but I mean, part of me, the crazy part of me, kind of was like, I'd like to do that.
Yeah, it's entertaining. I'll tell you what, Bill. Like Paige said, she got paid like 20 times what she got in the UFC.
Holy shit.
If like, or a lot more, if that keeps happening, people aren't going to start looking at it like that. They're going to go, wait,
right.
Like,
it's all about money. You're absolutely right.
And in some ways, I think I wouldn't say it's easier, but you don't have to defend, heel hooks. You don't have to defend kicks. And you're not punching as hard because you'll break your hand. So you're punching at like 70% and the rounds are shorter. I wouldn't say it's easier, but it's definitely like, it's a different skill. It's a whole different skill,
Yeah.
Like you said. And it's entertaining as fuck. He's right. And it's still in that weird stone age where like people are just entering the ring for no reason or people are just jumping in or the announcers are saying like things like it's crazy. It's fucking madness.
I think it might evolve to like we have a hybrid like back to the early UFC or the Pride days where it's going to be bare knuckle, no holds barred, but on the ground as well.
Yeah, somebody's going to call it bare knuckle MMA, which I think will really favor the jiu-jitsu guys because from what I hear, it's harder to choke somebody with gloves on.
It is for sure.
So, all right, so a couple more fights. Who else is so Arlovsky is fighting this guy Tom Aspinall. Tom Aspinall has won 7-9. He knocked out Jake Collier in 45 seconds, followed up with another guy in 95 seconds. All of his wins come in the first round. I feel like they're trying to build him up. He's from England, and Arlovsky is not known for his like ground game. So, and Arlovsky's old.
How old is Arlovsky?
I mean,
40
at MMA years, like 160 or something, So, but at the same time, he's been in there with everybody. Yeah. Where that experience factor. I mean, there's nothing this guy's going to bring to the table that Arlovsky hasn't seen before. So, who do we like in this fight? Ricky Simone.
I think with the heavyweight division, it's always like when they match up a young guy like that, super athletic versus a veteran. It always depends on what happens in that first round because if that young guy can get rid of him quick, use that speed and that power, but it always seems to favor the more veteran, the seasoned heavyweight once the rounds go on because those guys usually blow their wad and then all of a sudden they're getting their shit pushed in by this old guy.
Yeah, you're right. I think you're right with that. Also, Jared Gordon is fighting Daniel Chavez. I like Gordon, man. He's a guy that like overdosed like 19 times on heroin. Then he like basically was sober, fucked up his back in like a car accident. They put him on painkillers on Vicodin when he was unconscious, and then he got hooked again. Like he's had a crazy life. Like everyone gave up on this guy. He's from New York, and now he made it back to the UFC. He made it to the UFC, and he's just a guy that you have to root for. I don't know the other guy, Chavez, but this guy's got some story. Like Gordon should sell his life story because he's one of those dudes that, like you're gonna watch, and you're like that can't happen. Like you watch a movie, you're like, yeah, right, the guy's gonna go to fucking heroin 19th. But yeah, so fucking Gordon's a guy that I always root for. Interesting fight is Drakkar Klose, because he's a guy that I feel like has so much talent, but doesn't always, like, he lost to Derrick because he got too excited and rushed in. And he's fighting Luis Pena, who's had 7 fights in the UFC. I feel like it was like last year we watched him on The Ultimate Fighter, Violent Bob Ross. But I don't know how good this dude is. Like, I still can't figure out how good he is. What do you think?
Pena seems legit. Like I wasn't sure. I think it was like just 2 fights ago, and then I was watching some of the combos he was throwing, and some of his timing is just real slick. And then he's just so freaking long too for the weight class. Like, damn. Yeah, but so I think I like him in that fight.
I hope Drakkar wins. And he's dating Courtney Casey, who's a hot piece of.
Ricky, how important, like by percentage, is your camp, your training camp? Like, is it so definitive in terms of how when someone's going to win a fight or not? Because it always feels like people have had a great camp this time, or I didn't, and I kind of feel like, does it make that much of a difference?
I think it depends on the fighter, because there's so much. You'll be surprised about how many fighters are just training camp, athletes, like who are only really training when they got to fight. But those guys who stay ready all the time, you don't got to spend that first month and a half getting in shape. If you're already getting into camp in shape, you should just be able to knock out like the finer details and stuff like that. For me, I mean, I'm always ready to go, but I want that extra time in camp to for my coaches all to study my opponent and break down everything we think he's going to do. So I think we're at a point in MMA where you kind of have to be fully prepared. You can't just go in kind of like blindsided and be like, oh, I hope I'm ready for this. Like you kind of want to be ready to walk out and there not be a question in your mind that you've prepared.
You also never hear about a bad camp unless they lose. Like nobody wins and goes, I had an awful camp, but I won the fight. It's only when they lose that they admit they have a bad camp. So I feel like it's a tainted sample piece that we have. Nate Landwehr, this fucking guy's a psycho. He's the guy that, like, after he won his fight, he's from Alabama, called Nate DeTrain. He was like Dana White. He was like chasing Dana White around the arena. And Dana was like, where the fuck did we find this guy? He's fighting, but I love the guy. He fought like an M1. He was just a guy that just took fights everywhere. He's fighting Julian Erosa, who's 2-4 in the UFC, but he's been knocked out 3 times. I feel like Nate's got this. And then Eddie Wineland is fighting John Castaneda. Eddie Wineland, if he doesn't win this fight, I'm sorry. I love Eddie Wineland, but it might be time. That Sugar Sean O'Malley knockout was tough to watch. And then John Castaneda came to my show in Minnesota. He might have the hottest Filipino girlfriend ever, and then she walked out. She was offended, but he stayed. So, but I don't know. This is gonna be a good fight. Who do we like in this fight? Ricky Simone, Eddie Wineland, or John Castaneda?
Definitely Castaneda, the sexy Mexi for sure. I feel like he's too athletic, too explosive. I think I've been a big fan of Eddie for a long time, but that's also the problem. Has been for a long time. He's getting old. I think he's gonna be one step behind.
Yeah. One of the fighters today missed weight by 12 pounds.
Who's that?
He came in at Alves. The guy Alves. He was supposed to fight at 145. He came in at 157. So he missed the other weight class too. I mean, you can't let that fight happen, right?
No.
Whose call is that? Who decides if that fight can happen? Is it just Dana or is it the fighters?
Rafael Alves. Because I mean, it's got to be the commission. I mean, you can't miss the weight class above you, like by 2 pounds. Like there
has to be within a certain amount. I think it depends on the commission, but I'm pretty sure the commission would get involved at that point, and it'd be up to them, even if the other guy would accept it.
I mean, why not fake an injury? Like, why even go on the scale at that point? If you're 12 pounds over, why wouldn't you just like faint and be like, I can't, and be like that? Oh, sorry, I had something happen. I got a stomach virus, or pay off a doctor. Yeah. I mean, right? Coming in at 12, like, why would you even attempt to go on a scale if you're 12 pounds over? It's insane.
Did he say anything? Did he have an excuse? Like, well,
he said he was
tough
Brazilian.
weekend.
He said he was Brazilian. So that was his. No, I'm kidding. So, and then finally, another fight I'm looking forward to is Chaz Skelly, who was a 5-time state champion from Texas. He's fighting Jamal Emmers. That should be a good fight. Chaz Skelly's one of those dudes that, like, he's never out of a fight. Remember that one fight he won? Remember that fight he fought? He was like getting the living shit beaten out of him. And he came back in the third. I forgot who it was. It's against some guy from like Romania. I don't know, something. And then Casey O'Neill is 5-0, and they're touting her as the next big thing. And she's fighting Shayna Dobson, who I believe is like 3-4 in the UFC. I don't even understand this, but she won her last fight. She beat Agapova, who they were trying to make another like star out of. I hope Shayna Dobson wins. I do. I love it when but I don't know. Everyone's saying like the over/under is like 1 round on this one, but I hope Shayna Dobson wins. I really do.
Could Amanda Nunes just win every weight class? What if she just said, "I'm going to sweep the weight classes"?
Well, yeah. I mean, she's already done that. She's won at 145, 135. What, she's going to go down to 125? I mean, what is she going to do?
Keep moving up.
There's no other weight classes. What is she? I mean, they're going to her versus like fucking Gabby Garcia. I mean, like, and she would fucking wreck Gabby Garcia.
I know.
So, all right, finally, Jake Paul versus Ben Askren. So another boxer trained with Askren last week, who says that Askren trained with Jake Paul over at ATT, who says Askren got no shot. He says there's no victory for Askren. He's going to be a 3-1 underdog. It's going to be a terrible thing for the UFC. It'd be great for Askren if he gets paid $1 million, but he lives in Wisconsin. Like, you could buy a house there for like $19. He doesn't spend any money. He like owns like 90 Bitcoins. He has 4 wrestling academies. He made $1 million at ONE FC. He had a huge UFC contract and a huge Bellator contract. What does he need to do this for? Why is he doing this? Talk to me.
That boy likes the attention for sure. He's doing it for the clout. But I don't know. I part that the fighter in me wants to like team up with Ben Askren. You know, he's a funny guy, but I just watched a video of his coach saying that he was going to win, and Ben's in the background. He kind of like hobbles to the middle of the ring to like hit passes. Like, oh God, he's so unathletic. I don't know, man. I think that Paul boy is going to get him.
Dude, this reminds me a little bit. I hate to say it. Like, and he had 2 hip surgeries. Like, coming up 2 surgeries. It reminds me when Tito fought Chuck Liddell like 4 times. Like the last time.
Oh God.
Boy, people were there. They told me that they showed a video of like Chuck arriving, and he was like hopping. He was like crawling out of his car. And, like, you know how they go like backstage, and everyone in the crowd was just like, no. Like, it was like, and dude, I love Chuck. Chuck is fucking awesome. I've hung out with him. He's still ripped. He's still shredded. But it's different when you're and fucking who wants to see Jake Paul win? Is anybody rooting for Jake Paul? His own brother doesn't like him. Like, yeah. Logan doesn't like him. Like 15-year-old YouTubers, like that's who want. Is anybody rooting for this guy? But,
no. But doesn't that explain why he would want to fight him? Why Askren want to fight him? Because, like, wouldn't you want to kick this guy's ass for money?
Yeah, but do it like in a wrestling match or something where he's going to win, you know, or in an MMA fight. I mean, literally, if you go on Nate Robinson's – I go on Nate Robinson's Instagram sometimes because I'm bored and I want to see what people – he'll post something like, hanging with my kids, you know, great family day. And then like 97 comments like, but they saw you get knocked out. Like, and it's all fucking like – and nobody with like a fucking profile. It's just some fucking stupid account. Like, and like every one of them is like, oh, you finally woke up? Like everyone. Like, is this what we want Askren to deal with? I know he doesn't care, but fuck, man.
I mean, nothing could be worse than his knockout against Masvidal. So come on.
At least it was against Masvidal though.
Yeah.
Like, at least you could be like, and in some ways, yeah, that was, but there isn't a person on the planet that wouldn't have went down that way had they got their, like, that landed. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, it wasn't like, oh shit, like he got clipped with a jab and fell down. It was like, dude, a guy ran a running start and kneed him in the fucking head. Like, there's nobody that wouldn't have happened to, you know?
I will put money on Ben. I'll give $100 on Ben right now.
I would love that. No, because I would never bet against Ben. I fucking love Ben Askren. He's my friend.
Yeah, he's your homie.
But I don't know, man. I'm nervous about this one. I hope it doesn't happen. I hope it doesn't happen. Like the Mayweather one, I wanted to happen because I'm like, Floyd's not going to lose to Logan Paul. Like, there's not on any universe, on any day.
Yeah.
Fucking.
Yeah.
You could wake Floyd up at 4:00 in the morning, and you could give Logan Paul a full training camp, and you could be like, hey, you're fighting, and have him and he'll still beat him up with a fucking full. But this one, like, I mean, I've never seen Askren turn a punch. Like, have you ever seen him actually turn a punch? Like, it's all arm punches.
I'm gonna go get him in the clinch and like get him super tired though, and then
Yeah.
Well, I think if it was bare knuckle, he might win. And bare knuckle, he would have a better shot because he could just fucking do that shit, hold on to him like a hockey fight thing. But man, and then he's training, and fucking Paul's training with Sugar Shane Mosley. I don't know. What are you gonna do? Listen,
I'll take a $100 bet. I got you.
Well, listen, Ricky, when you're famous and you're gonna be super famous and you're gonna be a superstar, you're gonna be the champion. How old are you now?
28.
Yeah, you're gonna be a champion. I'd say by the time you're 30. But you can't forget about me, bro, because everybody else does. They're all fucking. This is what they all do, And then all of a sudden they're like, "Oh man, I'm tired. I'm gonna go on the." So don't fucking. All right.
Hey, I did. Hey, it's been like I think I did like an interview like 7 years ago, and here I am.
Of course, man. I knew you were a star in the LFA, bro. Like LFA, I was your fan. I was like, this dude's. I mean, you beat what? Chico Camus?
Yeah, dude, you interviewed me before my Titan fights. Before I was gonna fight like Brett Johns back in the day.
Yeah, that would have been a fun.
We were like not talking shit to each other. We were like giving each other compliments. It's super awkward.
Oh, that was the worst. We used to have these press conferences. Rest in peace to that guy. Yeah. The promoter would call me up, and be like, I got these two Titan guys, and then we would get them on. They wouldn't even know what they were on, what show they were on, and they would talk zero shit to each other. And then we would just talk shit to each other, me and the guy, on behalf of them. The best is one time we had Rachel Ostovich, and it was like before no one knew who Rachel was. It was her and Andrea KGB Lee, and then their boyfriends started fighting with each other, like in the background. They're like, tell me. That was like funny.
Hell yeah.
Like, I think one of them's in jail now for domestic. I think they're both in jail for domestic violence, actually. So fuck both those guys. But it was an interesting show. And then it was like, and then it became, would you make out with each other? Like, hey, Rachel, would you make out with Andrew? And she's like, yeah, probably. It was the weirdest, fucking shittiest press conference. And there was no actual press there, so I would just call it a press conference. But listen, thank you, man. Thank you for taking time. Bill, you're great. Anything you want to plug?
No, but Ricky, keep the mullet, man. Keep the mullet. That's going to be part of your brand, I think. You'll be like the fighter version of Theo Vaughn. Maybe put some color in it. Yeah, man. You're a badass. I love watching your fight, man. As a jiu-jitsu guy, I love how you combine your boxing, your striking, your wrestling, jiu-jitsu, man. I think you're a master. It's really cool to watch, and nice to meet you, man.
Yeah,
I have nothing to plug. Just my name. Adam, you're the best, man. Thank you. Everyone check out Adam's special on UFC Fight Pass. UFC? Yeah, man. It's great, dude. I just saw it last night. You're awesome.
I appreciate it. Thanks,
Love
Ricky.
you, buddy.
Thank you, guys. Take care.
Yes.